Buzz was electric at Ascot last time, Nicky, but he's gone up in the weights as a consequence of that easy success. He's up to £11 to 148 now. Is he still well treated?
Well, like, he was bound to do that. It was a bit bad luck on Nico, really, because in the past we've always thought that when he gets there, you have to put him on the line at the last minute because he pulls up on the running, and when he's hit the front, and this time he gets to the front, and instead of nearly pulling up, he just galloped off. He was impressive. What he loves is a really, really strong pace, flat out 2 miles, where, again, so the leaders are going to come back at you, rather than, if they're going away from you, you've got to help them chasing them. Do you know what I mean? So, he likes it when the race falls apart up front. And that's what happened at Ascot, to be honest with you. There was nothing, and then he was nearly off the bridle, 3 out, but all of a sudden he comes back on it at the last, and then there's nothing Nico can do. Consequently, he won far too far. He would definitely run anyway, so it's the plan to run anyway.
The Kennel Gate Novice Hurdle, Nicky, is a race that you've got a very good record in, and you could have a very good horse in the shape of Dusart who could represent you this year. He was ultra impressive at Newbury on his debut, wasn't he? He
was, in what I think was sort of deemed to be beforehand to be a very good race. I think there were a lot of fancied horses in there, and reputations, and he was impressive, yeah. So we thought the Kennel Gate would be the obvious port of call.
And of course, Dusart went into that race having had no racehorse experience whatsoever. He hadn't come from the point to field. He'd not had a run in a bumper. What was it that you saw in him at home that you think, well, I'll tell you what, he could be the real deal? Because again, I suppose you've got to look at it from a point of view that his brother isn't Simon Sigg.
Yes. Ronnie keeps a lot of his horses with Ian Ferguson up in the north of Ireland, where they'll probably have a point-to-point. And then, if they're good enough, they'll wander over to this side of the pond, rather like Simon Sigg did, and Allart, and now Dusart. And they were, if they're good, they're allowed to come here, which is great for me. Ian obviously liked him. We liked him. We saw him for a little bit in the spring, got a bit done. But it was pretty obvious when we started working him this autumn that he was a talented youngster, and Ian had done a wonderful job with him. I mean, he'd taught him everything. He knew buckets, so rather than go down, wasting time down the bumpering road, we could get straight on with it. And, this would be the test. If it can come through this, then we know probably what we're going to try and do next.
And a horse that also carries those same colours of Ronnie Bartlett is Allart, and you're going to go novice chasing with him. He's been very good. See, and interestingly, he was fifth in this. We were first, third, and fifth in the Supreme last year, and he ran a great race in that. He's very talented. He's quick, and he's been schooling very well. So we will go novice chasing with him. Yeah. It was only a 3-horse race at Newbury, but Caribean Boy was very, very impressive last time out. What's the plan with him?
There's a sort of nice-looking graduation chase at Ascot, 2.5, that ought to suit him well. And then, it's one more option. He only just came out of novice literally the day before the season got extended, if you like, till November the 1st, so he was still able to run in a novice, having only had 2 runs actually, in novice chases. So we've got one more sort of step at a stepping stone race, and they are good races for these horses that haven't a lot of experience. And so Ascot's where we're going to go, I think.
And where do you see you may end up with him, perhaps?
Well, I think Darryl feels that 2.5 is plenty for him. He's a big bruiser of a horse, and he gallops along. I think yes, he beat what was probably a pretty good horse at Newbury. What sort of got everybody's mind ticking was the time he did it in. And I'm not a great clock man, but they all say it was a phenomenal time. And yet all he was doing was just bowling along in his own rhythm. And that's what he can do. It must be a very high cruising speed, because they said the time was ridiculous.
You'd have to be looking at things like Ryanair's and...
I think Ryanair would be the obvious dream, if you like, at the end of the day, yeah.